Hello brothers and sisters, welcome to another episode here on Dangerous African Confessions HD. In this episode, we bring to you a confession from a brother who takes us on a journey into his life as a bodyguard to a renowned prophet. He talks about how he became a bodyguard after being a bouncer at a nightclub. He then shed light on the things that happened whilst he was the personal bodyguard of the prophet. And he feels the need to share with us the dark things and evil rituals that they have done in order to manipulate the members. I do not want to give away any details of what we are going to listen to, so without taking much of your time, let us go and listen to this message from our brother. But then, don't forget to subscribe if this is your first time, like and share this video so others can listen to it as well. And also hit the notification bell, so you will be notified anytime we upload videos of this nature.
Brother, I greet you and your people. I am Samuel, and at this time of having this conversation with you, I am no more in the capacity that I am going to talk to you about. And that is the fact that I used to be a bodyguard to this renowned prophet in the heart of Africa. This prominent prophet has risen to prominence, drawing thousands to his ministry. And I had the opportunity to serve him as his bodyguard. And what I am here to share with you is the dark rituals that he engages in before and after service. This is my unique journey to this role and my revelation of the rituals that precede the prophet's powerful sermons. I grew up in a modest neighborhood, and my family as well as the people in my community were all noble and modest people. I will say that they were predominantly farmers, and that is what I have come to know all my life. But I came to the city with a friend of mine who told me that something good is in the city and W should also come and see if it will go well with us in the city. So, I came to the city with my friend. We all resulted in lifting of metals at the end of every day when we returned home from work. We started gaining muscles and I felt in love with weightlifting. It became a part of my very existence. And as such, I gained so much muscles that drew attention anywhere I go. I had been told before by some of my colleagues in the gym that I should join these security agencies, because if I am lucky and I get a good agency, the money they are going to pay will be huge. 3 of these guys are also into this agency thing, and so they recommended me to their boss and I was asked to come for interview. Which I did, after which I was employed. I worked with them for a while. Initially, I was working as a bouncer in nightclubs in the name of the agency. My work took a dramatic turn when I was approached by my boss that someone who actually happens to be a prophet wanted me to be his bodyguard after they witnessed my dedication and loyalty during an incident where I protected a gathering from a sudden attack. And because of my dedication to the work, my boss called me one morning and told me that he wanted me to forfeit what I was doing at that time and then become a personal bodyguard to one prominent prophet who has called him for a bodyguard. I agreed to it and he made the call to this prophet. A meeting between the prophet and I was scheduled and I went to meet him for a brief talk. One thing is that I honestly never imagined I would be standing beside a man of God, but it felt like destiny. I was chosen for a purpose greater than myself. With a mix of excitement and apprehension, I accepted the role, knowing that it would expose me to a world filled with both divine powers. I had gone to him for a meeting as to him accessing me if I am worthy of becoming his bodyguard. I met 3 men who I knew on TV screens. I was asked to sit down when they asked me so many questions. After the meeting was over, this man came and shook my hand and told me, "I am welcome to his team," he said. From henceforth, I was his personal bodyguard. But then, before I left, he questioned me if I am able to keep secrets. I said in my line of work, if you can't keep secrets, then you are not qualified to be a guard to anyone in particular. It took me about 3 months or so before I came really close to the prophet. Always I was called to guard him whenever he was ready to step out or going to church. But then, when I spent enough time with him, he allowed me closer to him. And so, as I settled into his new role, one thing I quickly learned was that the prophet's ministry was not just about preaching, it was deeply rooted in spiritual preparation. Each Sunday before the service, the prophet would engage in a series of rituals designed to invoke divine favor and prepare him for the day ahead. The rituals began early in the morning, often before dawn. I would be called at dawn to accompany the prophet to his private chamber, where an atmosphere of reverence hung in the air. Brother, my very first time of entering this place, I nearly shouted. But for me to be professional, I remained calm even though I felt somehow not alright. The room was adorned with symbols of faith, candles, incense, and sacred texts. Here, the prophet would engage in intense prayer and meditation, seeking guidance and strength for the day's ministry. He can spend not less than an hour or two here. And I will have to be there to make sure no one come in unexpected. At first, I thought it was a normal thing for a prophet to have and be doing such things. But as time went by, I started seeing things that he was involved with, which made me to start asking myself a lot of questions. One of the most striking aspects of the prophet's preparation was the practice of sacrifices. He told me at a point that he as the prophet believed that sacrifices were essential for spiritual cleansing and empowerment. These sacrifices varied from offerings of fruits and grains to more elaborate rituals involving livestock. I remember on one occasion, I witnessed a ritual involving a goat. The prophet explained that this sacrifice was meant to atone for the sins of his congregation and to seek blessings for those in need. The goat was brought to a designated area outside the house, where prayers were offered over it. The atmosphere was charged with anticipation as the prophet invoked blessings, asking for divine intervention. Once the prayers concluded, the sacrifice was performed with utmost respect and solemnity. One thing that seemed different was that, all the things the prophet was doing, it was not about bloodshed, it was about honoring traditions and seeking favor from the divine. Afterward, the meat was shared among the team and some members of the church sometime, symbolizing unity and shared blessings. When after he has completed these rituals, I would help the prophet prepare for his entrance to the church. Clad in his ceremonial robes, the prophet emanated an aura of authority and grace. As we approached the pulpit, sometimes I could feel the energy in the air shift. The congregation awaited eagerly, their hearts open to receive messages of hope and miracles. The prophet would begin his sermon with powerful declarations, often accompanied by fervent prayers and prophetic utterances. At the end of the day, when every quarter of the year reaches, at exactly the day that the full moon will come, the atmosphere surrounding his ministry and even the house will change. It will shift dramatically. When it happens that way, you will notice a sudden change and unsettling changes in the prophet's demeanor and the overall environment. What had once been a space filled with hope and light now took on a darker, more secretive tone. When this day comes like that, you will always see some selected few members who will come to the prophet's house. They understand that, when the time comes like that, it was always time for rituals. These rituals were known only to a select few within the ministry, and I was one of them, because I was his personal bodyguard. The prophet believed that these ceremonies were essential for maintaining power and influence over his followers, as well as ensuring continued success in his ministry. The rituals were shrouded in secrecy and often took place in secluded locations, far from the public eye. One thing that draws these individuals who knows the ritual attention is that, in the days leading up to the ritual, the prophet would become increasingly withdrawn. He would spend hours in prayer, often surrounded by symbols of power, animal bones, herbs, and other items that hinted at ancient practices. It got to a time that I was tasked with gathering supplies, which included specific herbs believed to enhance spiritual potency. I would always feel uneasy about these requests but justify them as part of my duty. I would then go and get them for his rituals. On the night of the ritual, a gathering of trusted disciples and spiritual advisors who were privy to the darker side of the ministry. They would convene in a dimly lit room adorned with ominous symbols and candles flickering in the darkness. In the ritual room, the ritual began with the prophet invoking spirits and calling upon ancestral powers. He would enter into a trance-like state, his voice rising and falling in a rhythmic chant that seemed to resonate with an unseen energy. The disciples would join in, creating a cacophony of voices that filled the room. The climax of the ritual involved sacrifices, often small animals such as chickens or goats. These sacrifices were meant to appease the spirits and ensure that the prophet's ministry remained blessed with success and protection from any malevolent forces. As time went by, I felt a deep sense of conflict during these moments. While I had always believed in the importance of faith, this made me begin to question the morality of these actions. My uneasiness grew by the day. These dark rituals took a toll on both myself and the people who believed him to be a true prophet of God. One significant thing after every 3 months is that you will witness how his followers were drawn into a cycle of dependency on the prophet's power, often sacrificing their own well-being for the sake of his ministry. So, when after I had come out free from being his bodyguard, and I see people even defending their pastors even when you know deep within you that what the pastor has done is wrong, I get the idea of how it is so. Most of these pastors are using dark energies to control the people and the way they react to his deeds. It is only after you are no more with their ministries that you will begin to realize how bad things are. What did it for me to make my final decision to walk away from my duty is that I overheard a conversation between the prophet and a close advisor one evening discussing plans to use manipulation and fear tactics to maintain control over their congregation. They spoke of exploiting vulnerable individuals who sought help, promising miracles in exchange for donations or loyalty. Honestly, I felt a wave of nausea wash over me. This was not the faith I had signed up to protect. I knew that my loyalty lay not with the prophet but with the people who were being misled and exploited. This decision did not come easily, brother. I had built my life around this ministry. But then, I could no longer ignore the moral implications of my involvement in these evil acts, deceiving the masses to think that whatever is being said by the prophet is of the Lord.
Don't forget to please subscribe, share and like our videos. Kindly hit the notification bell so you will be the first to get notification to our videos when we upload. Indeed, I will start by saying that life and the very essence of this precious gift is not about how well or how much money you were able to acquire. Nor it is about how influential you becoming in this material world. But then, it is about how much of positivity you affect people with. How much love you show your fellow human being, which is the nature of the creator of this very universe. This conversation with our brother seems to suggest that he felt uneasy within himself, but maybe because of the money that he was probably getting from his role as the personal bodyguard, he decided to push what he was feeling away. And you see, in life we all do have that special feeling within us which does not lie to us. So, when we get into any situation or place and we begin to have such feelings or thoughts, we should pay much attention to it. This is because your own soul or your guardian angel might be telling you something for you to act on. I certainly do not want to talk much about this very video. Reason is that he himself took steps to correct whatever he got himself involved with. And that is what I would tell every one of us. If we get to a place that we feel we are not comfortable being there, we should be bold enough to walk away so we can have our sanity intact. Though it might not be easy, but when you make your first step, the good Lord will see you through to the end. Please let us hear your thoughts in the comment section. Yes, just as we are here to share with ourselves what is going on out there, we do bring these conversations with you, our family members, to help our innocent brothers and sisters to realize what is happening out there, that they do not have any idea about. I just hope that we honestly take the important lessons from these stories to better our lives and decisions. Stay blessed and be safe. Thanks for being a part of this growing family. Kindly share your thought with us in the comment section below. And if you are new here, please subscribe, like and share.